Hello, welcome to Property Elevator Live. Thank you, Ranjan, for the introduction. My name is Elizabeth Warburton, and I'm the presenter of the show. I'm here to just give a little explainer of what we're all about, just in case you missed Ranjan's pitch before. So the show gives budding property developers the chance to pitch their deals to our 5 seasoned property professionals, or who we call our property investment angels. Now, these are John Howard, Helen Chorley, Paul Mahoney, Ranjan Bhattacharya, and Nicholas Woolwork. Okay, so as you all know here, property really isn't for the faint-hearted. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions of pounds at stake in a deal. So yes, the rewards can be amazing, but if it goes wrong, it can go very wrong and very quickly. So that's why I love the show in particular, because not only do you get a chance to partner up and get fully funded for a deal, but you also get the knowledge and the key learnings from somebody who has so much experience, and they can walk you through and help you through the development process as well. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce you now to our angels. First up, we have Mr. Paul Mahoney. Can everyone put their hands together for Paul? Hello, Paul. How are we?
Very well, thanks, Lizzie.
Good. Please, can you just give everybody a little quick intro about yourself, who you are, where you're from?
Yeah, of course. So Paul Mahoney is my name. I'm the founder and managing director at Nova Financial Group. We help people invest in property and build portfolios. I'm also an investor and developer myself.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And next up, we have Mr. Nicholas Woolwork. Nick, welcome.
We're going different seats.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, Nick. Oh, I've just realised I've got you the wrong way round.
It's not my usual
Do you want to
seat.
sit in your proper
Can I
seat?
sit in my usual seat? I feel out of
do
place.
it. That's totally my fault. Apologies.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Thank you.
Welcome, Nick. Please just give a little quick introduction to everybody.
Thirdly, hello, everyone. Looking forward to a good show. I'm Nicholas Woolwork. I'm the CEO of Red Brick Group. Primarily, we're property developers. We've developed over £45 million worth of property. We still own over £30 million. And John's already giving me banter from backstage. Expect more of that when he comes on.
Already?
But yeah, I'm a globally published author of Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, for the For Dummies brand. And we have propertyforum.com to help people get going on their journey as well, with lots of free education.
Lovely. Bit, so just a little bit then, Nick. Thank you so much.
I can keep going if you want, Liz.
No, that's enough for now. Next up, we have Mr. Ranjan Bhattacharya.
Hi.
Hello, Ranjan. How are we?
Very good. Very
Again,
well.
just a very quick introduction, please.
Only a quick one. Well, I'm a property YouTuber, and I do a little bit of property on the side as well, mainly commercial to residential conversions and buy-to-lets and that kind of stuff, developments. I also run a training business where I educate people on commercial property investment and development.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ranjan. And so next, we have Mr. John Howard.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Oh, okay, I'll clap.
Now, let's all be nice today, okay? John, please, just a very quick introduction about yourself.
It's great to be here. I'm John Howard. I've been in the property industry, and is an industry at the end of the day, for 43 years. So I'm the most experienced. And hopefully today, the contestants will want to have me invest in their deals and not all the others.
So you forgot your walking frame, John.
Always ever so modest as well, John. Thank you. And so finally, last but certainly not least, we have the wonderful Helen Chorley. Thank you, Helen. Looking fabulous as always. Just a very quick introduction as well from yourself, please.
Hi everybody, absolutely delighted to be back. We had such a great time when we did it in October, so really happy to be here and see all of you. I'm a private investor, invest mainly in developments with developers. I'm also co-founder of Property Sisters. I write for Property Investor News, who are also here, number of different hats, and yeah, delighted to be reunited with my angels and you, Lizzie.
Thank you. Wonderful. So here we have our angels. I think it's time we do some deals.
Lizzie,
what do you think?
It's time let's get some deals done.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right, let's get going. Please, can you all give a big, big warm welcome to our first live pitcher. Please welcome Steve. Hi, Steve. Welcome to Property Elevator Live.
Thank you.
Please, can you just give a little introduction to our audience today and a little bit about the deal that you've brought for the Angels?
Absolutely. So my name's Steve Horsley. I live just outside Darlington in northeast England. And the deal I've brought today is a mixed-use development in Richmond, North Yorkshire. And ideally, I'm looking for an investment of £400,000 to go towards the purchase of the development.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, thank you so much for coming today. Can you just explain very quickly, if possible, the deal and what you want so all the angels and the audience know, please?
Yep. Absolutely. So the building itself, it's currently a large commercial building, just under 13,000 square feet. Which is made up of roughly 6,000 on the ground floor, a basement of just over 3,000 square feet, and first and second floor of roughly 2,000 square feet each.
That's good.
It's currently tenanted to a commercial tenant. However, they're going to be vacating the building around October, November this year. So the vendor is minded to sell. Essentially, what I'm proposing to do with the building is to convert the first floor and the second floor and do a loft conversion at the rear and put dormer on the rear to create 8 one-bedroom apartments and then maintain the commercial unit on the ground floor, possibly dividing the commercial unit up into smaller units as it is essentially one of the largest, if not the largest, in the marketplace of the town. So I think it may be easier to rent the commercial unit going forward if it was divided up into smaller units. So essentially what I'm looking for is an investment of around £400,000. Haven't actually agreed the purchase prices yet. Still at quite early stages with negotiations with the vendor. He hasn't actually had the building valued yet. But I'm estimating purchase price around £450,000. I have £50,000 in savings to put into the deal. Then looking for around £400,000 to complete the purchase. And then use development finance for the rest of the purchase.
Okay. Steve, thank you very much for that.
No
Short and sweet, how we like it. Who would like to start questioning? Ranjan, you've normally got too much to say. What do you want to say?
Well, I got very excited when I saw Richmond.
Yeah.
I've just done something in Richmond.
Thinking of the other Richmond.
But then I realised there's another one. But okay,
A better one, I might add.
I won't hold that against you.
There's a whole north of England, you know, Ranjan.
So it's outside the M25, I've gathered that much. This is a listed building.
It is a listed building, yes.
And you've pointed out rightly that obviously it's not eligible for permitted development rights.
Absolutely.
Does that mean you're out, does it?
Not yet, not yet.
Ranjan's out, I'll go.
So this is a full planning application. What due diligence have you done to ensure that you're likely to get it? Because one thing I've noticed is you've asked for 8 one-bedroom flats.
Yep.
And the local authorities anywhere in the UK do not like it when you put in a planning application for not having a dwelling mix. They tend to like a couple of 2 beds, a couple of a mix.
Yep.
They hate all 1 beds, and you can only do that under PD. So what I'd like to ask is, have you done due diligence to figure out that you will get this planning permission?
I have done an element of due diligence. I haven't engaged a planning consultant as yet, but I have made allowance for that in my figures.
Yep.
However, I've essentially pitched it on 8 one-beds. My feeling is that the first floor and second floor, there probably would be enough space to have on each of those floors one 2-bed and 2 1-beds, but I haven't kind of developed that idea in terms of kind of architect's plans or anything like that. But just in terms of the amount of space on each floor, I think you probably could squeeze 2 1-beds in. But for the sake of being kind of cautious on my numbers, I've based it on 8 1-beds.
Well, we know someone who would like you to be cautious on the numbers, don't we? And she's sitting right next to me.
Oh, yes.
So, Helen, what are your views?
I wanted to ask about what you estimate the time frame would be on this.
Well, I mean, wouldn't be able to get started until at least November time because obviously, as I mentioned before, the commercial tenant will still be in there. So my kind of intention is to try and get it under an option agreement, deal with planning, and try and get it through planning by that point on a kind of subject to planning deal if we can.
Right.
Complete as soon as the commercial tenant vacates, and then I'm estimating it as being a 12-month development project in terms of doing the work.
And the exit at the end is sale, so you need to have some time on for that, for return of funds, right?
Potentially, yeah. I think probably the best exit, I think, is sale. I think you could potentially look to refinance and rent the properties out if you wanted to, but the rental yield wouldn't be great in terms of single lets. You're probably looking at around a 3.94% yield as single lets. Richmond does have a tourist trade. It is kind of a strong tourist town. It's known locally as the gateway to the Yorkshire Dales, so there is potential for serviced accommodation there as well.
But in terms of me getting my money back, it's at least a 2-year project. I love the numbers that you've done. As John says, I really like that you've been conservative. I wonder what contingency you've got in there. I love that you've got skin in the game. Where I am is that on 190 profit each, the kind of gross profit, you're looking at a kind of internal rate of return of 42%. Now, I'm looking at that over 2 years.
Yeah.
And that for me is not exactly where I would want that to be. So it's not looking like one for me based on these figures, but I love your ambition, and this is really well put together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, I'm going to ask Nicholas next. Nicholas, keep it short if you could, Nicholas, please.
Shorter than you?
Yeah.
I'll do my best. That won't be hard, actually, John, to keep it shorter than you.
You've already spent 10 seconds talking about that.
I have. I would like to know what sort of due diligence you've done around the parking and the amenities on the site. Is there any space for bike and bin stalls and those kind of things you need to think about?
Sound is awful.
Sorry, I could
Is it bike and bin stalls? Have you thought about those? Is there any space on site for that kind of amenity?
Essentially, the parking aspect of it, I have reviewed the local plan for the Richmondshire Council. They do support developments without parking, sustainable development without parking in the town centre, and they have approved similar schemes. Building 2-3 doors down from this was turned into apartments about 3 years ago.
Okay. Was that listed as well?
And that was also a listed building, yep. And that was turned into, I think it was a mixture of 2- and 3-bed apartments and a couple of houses in there as well, which didn't have parking. In terms of bicycle storage and that kind of thing, what I would propose to do is potentially, as you can see on the picture of the front of the building, there's a few entrances into the building, is probably use one of those entrances to create an area for kind of cycle storage, bin storage, that kind of thing, for the flats above, so that you've got that kind of amenity on site as well.
Okay. I'd like to go back to one point you mentioned when you were chatting to Ranjan about the mix of it all being 8 1-beds.
Yeah.
That's fine when it is a PD app, and I think where Ranjan was going with that is that when it is a full planning app, they're almost certainly going to want a mix, and you mentioned the one down the street is a mix.
Yeah.
Do you believe you'll get 8 1-beds? What's the thinking there? You've done some research. I just want to find out if I'm missing something.
To be honest, I'll be 100% honest, I wasn't aware that you wouldn't get planning if it wasn't a mix.
It's not that you wouldn't, it's that it's much less likely.
Yeah, less likely, but like I said before, I do believe there probably is space to make a couple of 2 2-beds in there and then keep 6 1-beds as well. Potentially, depending how much head height you could squeeze out of the loft conversion as well, you might be able to make those into 2 beds as well if you can make the head heights work. Or,
Thank you, Steve. That's
great.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Paul.
Thank you.
Do you know where Richmond is? It's in Yorkshire.
No,
It's called Yorkshire.
I don't know where
county.
Richmond is.
Yeah.
question around the sales values. Smaller Yorkshire town, right, not a city?
Yep, town, not a city.
140 grand for one bed seems a lot.
Yep, and I can appreciate you saying that for North Yorkshire. However, it is a town where it has seen significant increase in values in the last couple of years. The year from September 2020 to September 21, there was a 29% increase in property values in Richmond, North Yorkshire. It is right on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales and very much kind of the entry point to getting into sort of the more exclusive higher-end villages in North Yorkshire. It is predominantly a fairly kind of wealthy area.
So you've done your research and there's comparables.
Absolutely. Yep, I know the town very well. I'm actually looking to move to the town myself as well, so quite familiar with the property market.
You're going to live in one of these?
Sorry?
You're going to live in one of these?
No, I have a wife and 2 young daughters, so an apartment probably wouldn't suit us. We're looking for a 4-bed house, ideally.
Kind of just to reiterate some of what Ranjan said, obviously, we've got permitted development rights. You've chosen something that you can't use that on.
Yep.
I suppose why? Why not just find something you can use it on?
To be honest, I'm looking for other deals as well. Certainly Richmond, you would struggle to find much where you would get to use permitted development rights.
Yeah.
It's a very historic
I
town.
think, Steve, I think I can help answer that question. There's more to life than PD. I mean, Ranjan, you have caused all this problem across the country.
Fighting talk, right?
I mean, years ago we didn't have any PD. We weren't worried. It's listed. It's a lovely, lovely county town. Richmond is a lovely town. And at the end of the day, listed buildings are attractive. Look at how attractive that building is. You don't have to just not do it because it's not PD.
True. But this will take you a minimum of 2 years to do, and you will never get 8 one-bedroom flats.
No, I never said you would.
No, but hang on, John. The projected return is something like 23% or whatever. Can't remember now, 27%.
That's because you haven't looked into it properly.
Yeah, but hang on, but that's over 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
If you did a PD scheme, and just found something down the road that you could do PD on, you'd get the 8 one-bedroom flats, you'd be in and out in a year, you'd get the same 30% return, but that's achieved in 12 months, not 3 years. And that's where you make your money.
Doubled your return.
Yeah, I finished.
Before I was rudely interrupted, that was going to be my next point. The fact that it is going to take 2 years, and as Helen quite rightly said, it works out to about 40% return on the cash that we'd be investing, which is only 20% per annum.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not high enough.
No, shall I show you how to do this deal?
Go ahead, John.
Okay.
Subject to planning.
Because it's my turn, isn't it, Steve?
Absolutely.
Right, okay. First of all, the
Subject to.
basement's a waste of time. 3,000 square foot of basement, you can forget that, that's worthless. Now, the ground floor, what can we rent the shop for out on the ground floor?
Shops on the marketplace go for around £12 a square foot per annum.
What's
so
that in English? How
you're
much
looking
cash,
at
cash?
72 to 75,000 a year, I would say.
You didn't ask, no one asked that question. 75,000 a year, you think that's what it's worth?
Yeah, I would say so.
So a decent tenant, that'll be a 7.5% yield, that'll be worth £1 million. So what we do, we find a tenant, we sell it off, we sell the investment off, freehold, taking head lease back on the leases above. We've got £1 million back in the bin. We pay $450 for it. We're then in for say, $550 before we start the building work. What are we spending on the building work?
Building work, I've got estimated at 475,000.
How much a square foot is that?
Just under £100 a square foot.
Too cheap. Listed building, £125 a square foot for listed building. I would think at least, maybe a little bit more. However, the key to this deal is the commercial.
Yes.
Doesn't understand commercial. Doesn't do a lot of it. He told me I didn't do any. I've just read a book on it. The key to this deal, ladies and gentlemen, is the commercial element.
If you can let it.
Let it, sell it off, then you're in a profit situation from day one, like that. So, have we all had a good think about it? Nicholas, do you want to just comment finally?
I think, Ranjan, we should keep quiet because John's desperate for deals, so let him have this one.
Well, I do a lot of listed buildings.
It'll keep him occupied for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Keep him quiet.
It might do, Ranjan, but it won't matter because we've got £1 million back on the ground floor. Me and Steve will be flying. We don't mind that because we've got £1 million back to start with. So, Nicholas, any other nasty comment, or is that it?
I think I'm done for now.
There is a point here, John, in
though.
the package. The vendor is mindful that he is unlikely to find another tenant to take the whole building, and therefore is looking to sell.
We don't worry about that. I'll tell you now, at the moment I'm buying a number of commercial buildings, and interestingly, there are tenants out there for them.
They are, yes.
There are out there, and you would agree with that, I
Yes,
think,
of
Randy.
course.
You just got to be more sensible on the rent. That's fine, but they are out there. So,
Not for me.
no, not for you. So what's the view, Paul? Not for you, this one?
The view is that the return isn't good enough over
Okay.
a 2-year period.
Ranjan, how'd you...
It's not for me. They're simpler deals to do under PD, so I'd urge you to stick to something like that.
Thank you.
Nicholas?
It's not for me, I'm afraid. Too many unknowns, parking, grade 2 listing, price
Yeah.
of development cost, etc. So
A sign of inexperience, Steve. Now, Helen,
Yep, no, I'm
not
out.
for you?
Not for me.
Don't fancy a bit of a trip up to North Yorkshire?
To be fair, it's kind of my part of the world.
It's a
Wrong
beautiful
side of the
county town.
Pennines, wrong side of the Pennines,
for you.
but
Okay.
yeah, no, 42% over 2 years just doesn't work for me on an equity basis.
Okay.
Nice, thank you.
I'll tell you what, the negativity is pathetic, isn't it? So listen, this is how I see it. I really like the deal. It's listed. I do a lot of listed. These guys don't even understand what listed buildings are. I've done a lot of listed buildings.
You're not
so
competing, you've got it,
that's
mate.
not a problem. I'm just
Make your offer.
re-emphasising the point.
we're all out, John.
So I like the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be subject to planning.
Yep.
The trick to this deal is to find a tenant for the ground floor before we buy it.
Okay.
Now, we're going to have 6 months at least to do that because
Mm-hmm.
we're buying it subject to planning.
Yep.
So on that basis, if we can buy it subject to planning at 450, yep,
Yep.
and we've got the opportunity to find a tenant, maybe not at 75, maybe 60 grand's enough, then I'm willing to have a go if you are. And you put 50 grand in, I'll fund the rest, and we'll get cracking. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect.
Fantastic. Well done.
Well done, Steve.
Steve, that's really great. No problem. We'll speak afterwards.
Amazing. Now we've started. Hey, congratulations, Steve. Wow.
No messing
Who would have
about.
thought John's
Next.
done a deal?
Right.
By the way,
Okay, so next one we've got,
Same one.
we've got James on the way up shortly. This is his pitch here. Have a quick look while I get James up to the stage. Please can everyone give a big warm welcome to James.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us today. James, can you just give a little brief backstory, where you're from and what the deal is that you've brought today, please?
I live in South Wimbledon, and you might gather from the accent, I'm from abroad. I've spent 21 years trying to lose my Australian accent. I haven't succeeded as yet.
Oh, fellow
Oh,
Aussie.
another one.
Why would you want to do that?
And I've got I would like to think, a straightforward deal. Of course, I would say that. It's a single dwelling in southwest London in the borough of Wandsworth. We have secured some first charge funding on that, development funding, and I'm looking for a little bit over 200,000 with a return on equity just shy of 50%.
Fantastic. Well, that's very exciting. I'm going to leave you to it. Best of luck.
Thank you so much for coming today. Do you want to just expand on what you've said so far? Really, that's great, and then we can ask questions.
Yeah, sure. I thought, John, just before I start, I might just give a little bit of background. I've been in property since 2003, where I bought my first property at auction. I would suggest not to buy your first property at auction. It turned out okay in the end. I've done a number of things. I've got a current at present, I've got a number of deals, a refurb on one of my properties. Tomorrow, touch wood, we're exchanging on a property in Clapham, which we're turning into a 6-bedroom HMO. And I've got another property in North London, which I'm doing some planning on. I also run a business, which is a HMO business, 47 tenants across 8 HMOs. They are not properties I own, but which we have long leases on with landlords. Dirty name's rent to rent. I don't like that name. It's about controlling property, long leases, 3 to 5 year leases. So I know a little bit about HMOs. This deal is not a HMO. This deal represents an opportunity where we want to add value, where we can add value in 3 key ways. It's a probate deal. It is a short lease. The lease remaining is only 55 years. For those that are not familiar with short leases, it's very difficult for you to acquire it with standard finance. A bank will not lend on that. So adding value by using our knowledge to get a lease extension on the property first and foremost. Secondly, planning gain. There is strong precedent in the street, 5 other properties that have done L-shaped dormer conversions upstairs. And the third way in which we intend to add value is through a layout change to the existing first floor and a full refurbishment.
Okay, thank you very much. I would just point out, we don't see these deals until they're brought to us genuinely, and that is genuine. So we literally have 15 minutes maximum to make our minds up, to work out what to do with them, and to make a bid or not. So that is a genuine, that's absolutely genuine, ladies and gentlemen. So, who would like to start? Nicholas is looking a bit lively. Do you like to start again?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay.
I know I'm up against you on this one because you are the lease extension expert among us. So I'll acknowledge that. There you go. Don't enjoy it too much, John. It's the only compliment for the day.
Thank you.
HMOs, yeah, I know a little bit about those. Now, are you hoping to buy it subject to planning? Is that the idea? Because you've said that in here. And that's pretty tricky at the moment in the market, isn't it?
I agreed, and I'm glad we sort of started there. Let's talk about how we intend to mitigate risk. So we don't intend to exchange on this property until such time as we have positive feedback on a pre-application with Wandsworth Council. So one of the advantages of the probate is that we need to negotiate with the freeholder. The vendor or the vendor's family has agreed to that to allow us the time to negotiate with the freeholder. We've got some indicative costs which have been included. I have no intention of going to exchange until such time as we get positive feedback on the pre-app. That still represents some risk by virtue of not having full planning.
Okay.
Our expectation would be a delayed between 8 to 12 weeks as a minimum between exchange and completion, such that we're not sitting on finance. So there is some risk there, but I would not be going to exchange until such time as we get positive feedback from Wandsworth Council on the pre-app.
Okay, but it's in the hands of the lawyers now, so it's under offer.
It's
Because if it's on the open market, you're spending a lot of money at risk, aren't you?
It's been taken off the market. We are the highest bidder. It's taken a lot of time back and forth. The family, unfortunately, are not going to receive any of the proceeds of the probate. All the money's going to charity, and they've been arguing about which 3 charities are to get all the money. So that's what it was. Yeah, it was removed a couple of weeks ago. It's come back. I think the family has decided which 3 charities. But we've most certainly got that opportunity to extend the times in the transaction and not exchange on the transaction, not commit ourselves financially on the transaction until we get some positive feedback on planning.
Okay.
Yep.
Nicholas, you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Helen, what's your view? It's a pretty safe little deal for you, isn't it, Helen?
Well, I'm still trying to work out the numbers here.
Still working out the figures?
Yeah, ask somebody else.
One last thing, John.
Yeah.
Instagram, whoever's on Instagram, Property Elevator.
Dot.
Property Property.elevator.
Property.elevator.
Property.elevator. Ranjan said it wrong earlier. You said Property Elevator. It's Property.elevator.
Is that the website or the Instagram?
The Instagram.
Okay.
So please follow us on there. It's a new account. We've only set it up.
Okay, it's all very interesting, but we are here to do deals.
Whilst Helen was doing numbers.
Cool. So, right,
That's why you
okay.
only got 3 followers, John.
Paul,
Yeah, okay. With the lease extension, have you had any feedback from the freeholder as to whether they're going to let you do it?
Yeah, great question. Indeed. So we've had feedback from the leaseholder. He's prepared to entertain a market value lease extension around mid-70s. He's not seeking to go above market value, which is great. Will save us on some of the back and forth with the surveyors. The key element there is license to alter as well. So we've made an offer there. We hope to lock that out. It's in the figures there. So a lease extension plus the license to alter, which will allow us to add the L-shaped dormer on top. And we've had some feedback from them. They're prepared to do a deal just south, a little bit south of 100,000.
okay. Paul?
The build costs, where have they come from?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The build costs, where have they come from?
Yeah, so the build costs, we have been working the last couple of weeks pretty hard on a project we're due to exchange on, so we've got a pretty good understanding. In a former life, I was actually a civil engineer in the construction sector. We split this into two elements. They are estimated at this stage. So upstairs on the new build for the dormer, we're using just a little bit under 1,500 a square metre, excluding professional fees. And downstairs for the existing 69 square metres for a full refurb, back to brick, we're looking at around 875, 900 a square metre on the refurb. So all up 127,000 on the build, with a contingency of 15% of 19,000 on top of that.
John just mimes to me, it might be a bit light.
Don't want to burst your bubble, James.
Yeah, no, understood. I mean, one of the differences, because I had a background in construction, I have the capacity to issue work packages on a trade-by-trade basis. So I don't need to be hands-off. I've also got a business partner who's got a strong background in that as well. So very, very much hands-on in the build versus a sort of set and forget where you're paying a main contractor who's got significant profit margins.
And what allowance in the numbers have you made for kind of material prices? I mean, look, well, we've got inflation at the moment and interest rates probably heading next week. So,
sure.
What allowances there?
They've been based upon a little bit of work with our QS, Helen, at the moment. Yeah, significant risk materials. Unfortunately, what's going on at the moment. For those in the know, that a lot of wood products, MDF, and other things do come from a certain country that's not very popular at the moment. There is a contingency sum there, allowed about 19,000.
Yeah.
Expectation in terms of labour to materials mix, probably about a sort of 45 to 55% split between materials and labour on the build costs.
Are you completing the purchase of this before getting any planning? Or...
Ideally not. I will not exchange unless we have positive feedback from pre-consultation. I'm trying to draw out negotiations that we do not complete until planning comes in. I may have to take a view on that if the executive of the estate will not allow an extended completion.
So, and what project duration do you anticipate from the time of completion to sell out?
From the completion of build works to sell?
No, completion of purchase, from the time of purchase.
So a minimum of, we've allowed a minimum of 14 weeks on the build.
I mean, what I meant was complete duration, including planning, sure. Getting the permission, discharging any conditions and what have you, build work, sale, the whole lot.
Yeah, so highly likely the council's going to come back to us and ask for an extension of time. It's very unlikely they're going to consider it in 56 days, as they should. So we're looking around 4 months there, around 14 weeks on the build. Expectation to find and identify a buyer is 3 months. We think that's fairly consistent with Southwest London, but being a new build, we would expect that could be a little bit faster. And then a full 3 months in addition to that, completion of legals, and then 3 months contingency at the end. So bringing from the point of legal completion when we acquire the property to repaying our investors in the bank, we've allowed a full 12 months.
Okay, 12 months, okay, maybe a bit longer perhaps. And just to look at the funding, so you are getting 70% funding to buy the asset,
correct.
Development finance as well, and you're looking for all of the equity. Are you putting anything into the party in terms of cash, or are you looking for all of the cash funding?
So I'm just in the process of remortgaging one of my own properties, and then we have a refinance on another project that's due to happen in summer. So that's a little bit up in the air at this stage. I would like to put money in myself and actually reduce what I have to give away in terms of my returns. So I started by asking for a little bit north of 200. I think realistically I'd probably be wanting just 100 and 100 of my own money. So it's not a large sum, but yeah, I mean, if I was in your seats, I would want skin in the game myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, ideally, James, I think at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. I accept the fact what you're saying about your build costs because, you're doing it piecemeal, you know what you're doing, you're not getting a main contractor in. Always dangerous not to do that, but you know what you're doing. Accept that. The one thing I haven't heard you say is about the Queen's speech. Okay, now the Queen's speech this year is very important because with the government, the Queen's speech outlays what they're going to do in the forthcoming months. And one of the things they're going to do is re-look at the value of long leasehold flats. So what they're going to do in future, every flat's going to be 999 years. It's going to be at 0 ground rent, which is what I'd like to have seen in here. And most importantly, you'll pay less when you're negotiating to extend the leases. Probably 50% less. So have you taken into that account, James, or not? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's good news if you
great point. I don't believe, and I follow it closely. I do follow politics closely. It's a little bit sad, but
not really.
I don't believe, as it stands at the moment, in terms of the votes that have happened, in terms of the changes to the Leasehold Act. Yeah. I don't believe that existing leaseholds will be changed to a ground rent of 0 and then amortising the value.
They will when they're renewed. So you're going for an extension.
Wow.
The extension will be at 0, and it'll be for 9 years. No negotiation on that. I'm convinced.
By then.
And it's in the Queen's speech. So on that basis, anybody negotiating on a lease at the moment can probably I don't want to be sued on it, but can probably look to not pay anything like as much as they are now. The government are committed to doing this.
Yeah, okay, so we have budgeted, and the freeholder's given some feedback. If you use some online tools, and we've spoken to our surveyor as well, a little bit north of 70,000 for the lease extension, a 90-year lease extension.
That could be good news.
It could be halved, potentially.
I'd just like to mention, no other angel mentioned it but me.
So that's 45,000, 35,000 you've just saved me, so I'll slip you a drink later.
I like to think more than a drink. Right, now, we better make a decision here. Who would like to go first? Now that means, ladies and gentlemen, they're serious about this, because no one wants to commit themselves first. But someone's going to have to, so I'm going to do that. I'll do everyone a favour. James, super small deal, perfect deal. I know you probably don't need our funding at the end of the day, but I'm glad you've come, and I think you'll get 4 offers here, or 3 offers from people here. So I'm going to step down for this one, because I've already got one. I'm going to step down and let other people make offers to you, because I think you will definitely get an offer or 2 today, and I've just saved you 35,000 potential anyway. So, Paul.
Well, obviously you want to work with a fellow Australian, not these...
Oh, that's another reason why.
There's trust there already.
Honour amongst thieves, I think the word you're looking for.
Question on the funds required. So you said that you could probably come up with 100 grand yourself.
Yeah, correct. Subject to a couple of remortgages and a project we're working on now. So by the time I think this comes to exchange, I will have some money, yes. Okay.
Well, subject to the 100 grand and subject to planning, I'd be willing to give you the other 100 grand on the basis of a 50-50 split.
On the basis of?
A 50-50 split of the profit.
A 50-50 split of the profit.
Okay, that's a firm offer. That's a good start. Who would like to go next?
That was great minds. That was the exact offer I was heading for as well. I much prefer a return on capital invested of 85% versus 48%, so I'll match that offer.
Sorry, I missed that, Helen. What did you say?
I'll match that. I'll match Paul's offer. So
I'm not being funny. 2 weeks ago, Helen, you matched someone's offer, and I said to you afterwards, why didn't you just pit them to the post and do it? So there's.
I know. I've still not given.
I wish I did. I
know. I so remember. I've still not forgiven Ranjan for that.
No, exactly. Long memories. Long memory.
But.
So you're matching Helen.
I'm matching Paul.
Matching Paul. So you've got 2 offers of the same thing. Nicholas, what's your offer if you're going to make one? Keep it short. That's the clock there, by the way, ticking down.
I would be interested going with another angel. And the only angel I'd be interested in going in is with Helen, if she's interested.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a bit mean.
On the same terms she's offered, so we would share the 50%.
So just repeat that so we couldn't hear it very well. So just say it quickly.
50% of the profit going in halves with Helen.
And with James putting in 100 grand, you putting 100 grand in?
Yeah.
Yes?
Well, 50 grand
50 each. Yeah. Well, you can definitely afford that, you two. So Ranjan is the final... Ranjan, what are you going to do?
You know what? I'll offer to park my tank alongside Paul's, if you'll have me. And we'll match it.
I'm happy with that.
Okay, so you've got, let me get this right, it's confusing me. So, suddenly, these two are the best friends. They weren't last week, by the way, I can tell you.
I would just add that my London residence is in Vauxhall, so I'm approximately 2 miles away from this development. This is my hood.
This is when they start, James, sucking up to you even more. Okay.
I'm just thinking, if only my dating life I had this many offers.
You're clearly on
Our
form.
pitch is he's Australian.
Yeah.
I'm Australian. I live in South London.
Okay, so you've got two offers, both similar, both identical offers on the basis that you can either pair up with Nicholas and Helen, or you can pair up with a fellow Australian and Ranjan.
What about you, John? You've been keeping very
I
good.
said I'll step back.
You're stepping back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm out on this one. So you've got two choices, or you can walk away and do it yourself. What would you like to do, James?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a difficult one. Has anyone got a coin that I could flip, perhaps?
We worth a bit more than that.
Yeah, thank you, Connie. My original proposal was to ask for all the money, and for all the money for us undertaking project managing, delivering the project, we give away 60% of profit. So on that basis, if I was to scale that back and bring it back to an investment that only represented 50% of that sum, then I would want that to look like half what I was originally offering. I guess more like 30% of the profits.
But that would be 15% each, which just isn't enough. It's not worth their while.
Just doesn't work.
What about just put in 50 grand, and they... I'm
Thanks for spending our money, John.
I'm trying to help.
Has anybody got any gobstoppers? You shut up.
For me,
So that would look like an investment of, let's say, about 110,000 with a return on equity base of 48% still, so still linear. So return on equity of just shy of 50% based on whatever you put in.
I think we would like to, tell me if you agree or not, stick with where our offer is. Because I think it's fair, and I think there's also a huge amount of value add with having us on board in your team.
Nicholas, Helen, going to stick or twist?
Yeah, no, we're happy with where we are, but like we say, I'm extraordinarily local to the area.
Aside from when you're in Malta.
Sure, what's that got to do
I'm back every month. I'm here every month. I know all the good pubs. We can have work meetings in the pub.
I mean, probably of the people here, I met Helen on Friday night, had a good drink, so I'm sort of edging this way, but Paul's one of my country folk over there, so I'm kind of on the fence here. It's two like-for-like offers.
Be quite blunt. You've got 10 seconds, because movie time is money. Make your mind up.
You need a coin.
I'm probably going to go with this side with Helen.
Woo! Hey! Good choice.
Well done.
Good choice.
Well done.
No wonder you're trying to lose your accent.
I cannot believe you two lost that. What were you thinking?
Congratulations, James. Well done.
Drop it a little bit, and you'd have got that.
It's
Paul
getting
and I had
juicy up here,
100%
guys.
success rate. You've just lost that now.
Yes.
I mean, you're so tight.
Sorry, guys.
25 grand less. You put in 25 grand more. He puts in 25 grand less. You'd have got the deal. Unbelievable.
Your fellow countryman, he absolutely kicked you out, Paul.
I know.
I'm sorry.
There you go. What can you say? Sorry, Liz. Over to you.
That's fine,
Lizzie.
don't you worry. Okay, so you've got your next packs there. Nick, could you just hand them out to everybody, please?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, so please, can you put your hands together for our next picture? And welcome Bartholomew to the stage.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. So could you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the deal that you've brought for our investors today?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Bartholomew. I came from Frimley in Surrey.
Sorry, can we do something about the sound?
Sorry.
Can't just
Put it really close. Just try and speak as loud as you can. And if you can face this way as well, so our audience.
I am from Frimley, Surrey, and I am bringing today this beautiful building, which is a fully commercial property on 3-story commercial property. Currently rented on the ground floor, and the ground rent is reaching 35,000 per annum. The first floor is also rented at the moment, but it has been agreed that the company will move out as soon as the conversion to 6 flats will take place. So this building is proposed to be converted into 6 flats, 4 times 2 bedrooms and 2 times 1 bedroom.
Okay, lovely. Bartek, great to see you.
Great to see you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Who would like to start? Ranjan, would like to?
I haven't had a chance to look through the pack yet. I'd like to know a little bit more.
That's not Bartek's problem, really. Let me start then. Shall I start? Okay, because we've got to move on time-wise. So,
Whoa.
okay, so does this need Class E? I get very confused, all this PD. If it's too complicated to do under PD, just go for planning permission, you know? It's not against the rules.
You need to go on a course, I think, John.
It's not against the rules. So is this PD? Class, you've got Class E.
It is Class E.
Yes, so it's PD, yeah. Okay. Okay. Now with PD, what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, even if Ranjan tells me, because I ring Ranjan and ask him, and he says, should be okay, John, I always try and buy it once I've got PD. So I agree the deal, and then I'll quickly get cracking on the PD, 56 days allegedly, so that by the time I come to exchange, I've already got PD, because I de-risk as many deals as I can. So, what's the score with this one? How quickly have you got to move on it, Bartek, because that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have spoken with all the tenants. I have spoken also with the vendor of the property.
Yep.
So the idea is that obviously the ground floor tenants are staying in the units because they are obviously paying. So it's a very good circumstance, I suppose. Yep. In terms of the PD, it has been rejected because it's zone 3. However, zone 3 flooding. However, we believe that it has not been really put correctly into the council how this conjunction can be kind of overturned and can be handled. So I believe that definitely your expertise in a PD and obviously those kind of situations could be used.
Thank you. Build costs.
Build cost, it's 485,000 with 10% included as a.
And how much a square foot is that?
Sorry.
How much a square foot?
3,800 of a space to convert. 3,800 square foot, or 350 square meters.
Yeah, but how much per square foot is the cost of development?
It is, the whole calculation is made on a cost basically basis. So 92 pounds per square foot, or 105 pounds per square meter. But this is on cost, so there is the company as such. We would not take any,
Thank you, Bartek. Are you ready yet, Ranjan? Are you still thumbing through?
I'll ask a question, John.
Yeah.
It says on your sheet that the PD was refused.
Yes.
However, the council encourages the submission of full planning permission. What's the reason for that? That's fairly important.
Well, yes, there was a flood assessment done. And actually, from the flood assessment, which you have also in a pack at the last page, it says that they don't see any reason for refusal because you can take insurance for the tenants. However, the council decided that it probably would not be sufficient, and the current owner did not provide sufficient information. How would they kind of allow tenants, in terms of the flooding, move away to flood zone, for example, or zone 1, sorry.
So it's just a poorly submitted
I
application?
believe so, yes. And he said that he doesn't have an experience, so he's looking someone who actually does have an experience and can overturn the PD decision.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Helen, what are your thoughts?
Still making my way through these numbers, actually. Sorry, can we just dig into that a little bit more? Maybe this is my lack of understanding of PD rights here. So the PD right has been refused because of a flood issue?
Correct, yes.
Okay, all right, that's new to me. Learn something new every day, don't you? Okay. But hence you've got these, so you've been very...
I think that this is very easily overturned. Someone just didn't do the good work and didn't do the good assessment of the situation. And
right.
What I would say, if it floods, it floods. If it's in a flood zone, it's in a flood zone. Which flood zone is it?
Number
1, 2 or 3?
3.
3?
3 at the moment.
3?
Yes.
It's not going to end up 2 then, is it? It's 3.
Yes.
That's a problem. Paul?
But from the, if I can only add to this, the last flood in that area was in 1845.
I honestly don't think that matters, Bartek.
Okay.
In my view, it's very difficult.
The funding you're looking for, are you looking for all the cash from us, the 615? £615,000, is that what you're looking for from us?
Well, yes, this is the based on the cash that is required, and the rest is on finance.
So do you have funds to put into it at all, or
No,
not?
that would be the full funding from the investors.
Okay, it says here that you developed 125 flats in Northampton. Would have thought you would have made a bit of cheese from that. Where's that gone?
Sorry, I didn't.
125 flats in Northampton you developed in the past, is that right?
Well, that was only our, yes, that was only our, that was the first deal that we have kind of analyzed for ourselves. I am doing this in England for a couple of years.
Right.
So obviously I was preparing myself in terms of the analysis of the old deals, similar to that one.
Okay.
Ranjan, you're the PD expert of the group, of the country probably, really.
Of YouTube, John. Praise from you, John.
It is
I'll take
praise
it,
for
I
me,
guess.
you're right, yeah.
Listen,
Enjoy.
I think the issue about the PD is a little bit mute, because this was applied for under the old rules before the new Class MA came in August the 1st. The new rules have different eligibility criteria. The flood issue, what I understand is the space you're converting is above ground floor, isn't it?
That's correct, yes.
You're not converting any of the ground floor space into residential use.
Yes.
Now, what I'm not unclear about is whether the previous submission had a flood risk assessment and mitigation report submitted with it.
You've got it at the last page of that document. I obviously didn't print the whole assessment because it was 25 pages.
Right, okay. So that's the bit at the end, yeah? Okay, so even though their conclusions supported it, they didn't accept it, yeah?
Not at this stage, and with the conversation with the council requested for the full planning. But as I say, I believe that
the big problem with this is that under the new PD rules, Class MA, there's still this issue with flood zones. And if they rejected it because there was a detailed flood risk report, which they seem to have been, they are likely to come up with the same conclusion. That is the problem. Mm-hmm. So I think the bit that's unclear is this flood risk assessment report and mitigation measures. Because normally, you can mitigate against flood. The question is, how much will it cost?
Yeah.
And how much will that add to the build cost, and will it be profitable in that area? So it's a kind of a new flood risk assessment and mitigation report that needs to be done if this is going to move forward. And I think that's the big unknown for this right now.
Ranjan, we are talking first, second and third floors here, aren't we?
Yeah, I know, but it's what it is, it's the access.
Gotcha.
Because the access is on the ground floor.
Yeah, you might need a rowing boat.
Exactly, exactly. Can you moor your boat on the first floor? I mean, that would be...
Well, you couldn't moor Paul's boat because it's too big. So, Paul, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I think on the flood risk side of things, it may also affect your exit, because I assume you're going to sell...
Definitely, you need a boat.
Well, yeah, unless you've got a boat. But, no, I mean, obviously, selling the flats. So, likely selling to people with mortgages.
Yeah.
Mortgage lenders don't like flood zones. Some will lend in them, but they'll be expensive. And therefore, your target market for resale might be limited. I don't know the area. I'm not a PD expert like Ranjan.
Lovely area.
And therefore, there's probably not a lot I can add to this, whilst there are some concerns to it. So therefore, it's not one for me.
Okay. Sure. So, Paul, not for you, Paul? Okay. Nicholas?
I'll make you a slight curveball offer on the basis that we can do some sort of JV agreement with the current vendor. Yeah. I think as a deal, just to say I'll fund it now, there's not enough information, there's too many risks. You know, it's a failed PD app, that's essentially unfundable. You know, it's going to be incredibly difficult on the face of the deal. But I think there's a way to be creative with it. Mm-hmm. So if we can get creative with it, I'll top up any money needed on the basis we try and get a JV done with the landowner as well. Okay. And you and I would share the profit. So you and I could share 50% of the profit that we might be able to gain from doing an onward JV with the landowner, and it seems like they'd be amenable to that. And the main basis for that is I think they've massively underestimated what they can build. They've said 4 1-beds and 2 2-beds. I think we can do better than that.
Well, they have initially they had actually 4 1-beds and 2 2-beds. I have changed it to 4 2-beds and 1
We can maximise that even further.
Okay, so your offer is what, Nicholas, just to be clear?
50% of any profit that we gain on the deal together.
Okay, so that's an offer to do the deal?
Is, yes.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Bartek, you've had a result there, in my view.
But I like this area. It's a great area.
Yeah, it's a great area. Helen, what's your view?
It's beyond my comfort zone, and there's so many risks that I don't understand. I'm not sure I'd be bringing to the deal, and I definitely can't compete with Nick on this, so not for me, but good luck.
Lovely. Thank
Bartek, let me say where I am. Lovely area, great presentation, very good. Anybody think you've been on a seminar?
Good numbers.
Very good.
Good numbers.
What I would say is flood zone 3 is a big problem. I don't need problems. There's always enough problems on a development without starting with a big one, in my view. And I think Paul's point is excellent about mortgageability. And that's what would concern me. So it's a no today. I think Nicholas is an ideal partner for you.
Yeah.
Unless Ranjan wants to jump in, because if Nicholas jumps in, guess what normally happens? Oh yeah, Ranjan wants a piece of the action as well. So let's see what he's got to say.
I'm a bit washed out on this one, actually. I think
There's always a bad joke somewhere from Ranjan.
I think the flood issue is serious.
Yeah.
And I think, although you can put in place mitigation, mitigation measures are not entirely obvious, particularly when buyers, valuers come around for a mortgage valuation.
Spot on.
They'll just look at the flood risk. And I think because of the uncertainty with the exit and what mitigation is required, I think there are too many variables for me. It's a great area, PD is the right thing to go for, and you can definitely optimise the planning, but I think the flood risk is a bit of an issue.
Bartek, you've got one offer from Nicholas.
And I would like to take it.
Fantastic. Off you go.
Awesome. Let's try and make it happen. Really good. Good pitch as well. Well done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Bartholomew. Oh, you're right. Be careful. We don't want any death. So next up we have Peter and Joy. This is their pack here. Peter and Joy, please can you join me up on the stage? Can everyone give them a warm welcome? So I'm going to just give you my microphone to keep up here. If you'd like to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what the deal is today that you've brought.
Done in half a day.
Mostly.
Hi, I'm Joy. I'm here with my business partner, Pete. We're looking for an investment of £885,000 to purchase and do a light refurbishment on the former YMCA in Grimsby, Lincolnshire. The intention is to turn the accommodation into short-term let rooms and apartments with a gym and a communal area. The sports hall is to be converted into a self-storage unit upon planning. We are offering 40% of the company to the investor. We propose to refinance the property with the bank and then return the initial investment to the investor. I'll now pass you on to Pete.
Yeah, hi. So this is a multifaceted deal, and we're only focusing on the accommodation aspect today because of the other aspects of planning, approval, etc. But we're focusing on the accommodation because we know that it works in its own right. So the intention is to phase what we're doing so that the asking price of $885,000 enables us to buy it quickly, convert, we call it South Wing and North Wing. So the South Wing is a quick refurbishment to get 39 rooms up and ready to let to the short-term market, which will be, in that area, it's the contractor base, because we've got a lot of big infrastructure work going on, and we know the market's there. Whilst we've also got keys undertaken, so as soon as we exchange, we can actually get in and start doing the painting and decorating, etc. The North Wing we will convert those. On the ground floor, we'll convert into 5 apartments, and the first and second floor, we're just going to basically knock some 2 rooms in together to make them a little bit bigger, to give us a bit of a variety to offer to our client base. The refurb of the south wing, we've estimated about £120,000 because of the very light nature of the work. And then on the north wing, we'll be going to development finance. We're estimating that to be about £323,000. We have got a decision in principle of about £440,000 to help with the purchase of it, if we can't raise the full asking price and the value of the £120,000.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much. That's excellent. Can I just ask one question? How much you're looking for the Balance Street, you're looking for £400,000 to help purchase it, and what do you need for the build cost to actually to do phase 1 and 2?
So phase 1 and 2, phase 1 120,
yep.
And phase 2 323.
And what are you looking from us? How are we going to get our money back?
We're looking for the full asking. Initially, we were looking for the deposit to help us get into the building straight away.
Okay. And how do we get our money back?
We get the money back. So basically, because we're going to be running a short-term let accommodation, we'll refinance on a commercial value in 2 years' time.
So I repeat, how do we get our money back? What profit are we going to make?
Well, this is we're giving you the 40% of the company.
40% of the company. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
And as I said, the jewels in this are the fact that it makes it's money.
Yeah.
In the
cash positive quite early.
Cash
quite
positive
soon.
in the first few months, and then we've got the development of the sports hall, and then we've also talking to care home providers and assisted living providers.
Okay, let's not get too excited. Okay, let's just go back one stage, just a little bit, if you don't mind. So, once you've done phase 1 and 2, what will the income be?
So the income we'll have a net profit of 229,000.
229. Yeah. Okay, after everything. Okay, so Helen, I've asked some questions. I've helped you, really, Helen.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John. The refinance on a commercial basis after 2 years, I wasn't sure that was...
Yeah, 2 years, yeah. So in relation to the hotel accommodation, we get the net value, and then at the moment we've applied a factor of ×8. This is what the brokers are telling us they will value a hotel-style business on. Right. So we get the net profit multiplied by 8 gives us a 1.8 million commercial value.
Okay. Nicholas, I know that you like sort of quite quirky things.
I do. I love the building. I think it's got huge potential. And I'll tell you what it's good potential for.
Nicholas, speak up a little.
Sorry. What it's got great potential for is housing asylum seekers, potentially.
Yep.
It's out at the edge of a village. I've just come back from the Ukraine border last night after delivering aid there and seen it frontline. And when I look at the pictures I've taken on my phone, I cry every time. I've tried to talk about it here with a few people, and it is devastating what's happening. I have direct contacts with management companies that run that business in the UK to help house these people. They're lovely people that have been forced out of their homes. I think this is perfect for it because all the rooms are there. It would need a low-budget renovation to get them usable for that kind of accommodation. I think your model is totally incorrect, if you don't mind me saying. Okay. The reason for that is you've said £120,000 to refurbish, what is an 8,000 square foot building, even if it was half of that.
That's just for the 30.
That's the whole thing.
To get 39 rooms, which is the
Fine.
south wing.
How many square feet is the 39 rooms?
You won't do it.
Top of the head, I don't know.
Yeah, £120,000 won't do it. You're going to have to possibly bring up the electrical standards, the insulation. You're nowhere near on budget. Okay. And if you're going for serviced accommodation, that's the highest spec needed because people are picky. Yeah. So that is not going to work. I'll tell you right now, you need a £1.5 million budget for that. So that won't work. But I believe I can put this into the hands of people that's going to do good. And I can help you finance it and do whatever we need to do to get the project off the ground. for a very good cause.
Thank you. Promoting the series.
Okay, so Ranjan, what's your view?
Well, I actually echo Nicholas's concerns about the build cost, but I'm looking at the place name. It's Grimsby. And
Do you know where that is?
Well, I'm just looking at the place name. I know we're doing short-term lets and all of that, and a lot of the thing with short-term lets, it can really fail on occupancy figures. And I've seen people do stuff and they get 20-30% occupancy because it's a lot down to the demand in the area and also the marketing. What due diligence have you done to support the occupancy projections you've made which underpin the profitability you're expecting?
So I'm a service accommodation provider in the area. We've got about 24 units in Scunthorpe and Hull. I know the area. We're also developing a hotel in Hull as well. So we know there's massive demand of contractors flooding the area for the Freeport status, for all of the infrastructure work, for the work on the oil refinery, hydrogen plant processing. So that's my due diligence. I know what the market wants. And in my service accommodation in the area, I'm getting generally about 75 to 85% occupancy.
Very good, very good. Paul, do you know where Grimsby is, Paul?
I know approximately where it is. I saw a Sacha Baron Cohen movie about it, which didn't paint it in a great light.
That's a bit harsh.
Pillow Partners, is this company being set up solely for this? Is this company being set up solely for this development, or is that your existing company as well?
No, Pillow Partners is a friend of mine. He founded that organisation, and we were basically going to bring them in to manage the service accommodation aspect of it while they focused on the development side. So
the company that you're offering 40% of will be solely for this development, not your existing short-term let also?
Yes.
Right, okay. You're asking for 800 grand. Is there any reason why we wouldn't borrow to purchase and borrow to build?
Yeah.
No, not at all. We just thought we'd get in quick. If we can buy it, we can get it bought in 28 days.
Yeah.
If we have to wait for the financial institutions to do their bit, as you know, it's taken a bit of a while.
Yeah, I suppose from an investor's perspective, we obviously want to put in as little money as possible and get as best return as possible.
That's called greedy.
It's called sensible.
Efficient.
Or efficient in Helen's case, apparently. Okay. Nicholas, do you want to start?
Yes. I'll offer you whatever's needed to finance it over and above senior debt, which we'll try and maximise. And I've told you what I think we need to do with this building. This building is screaming out to be used for that right now, quickly. If we can buy it quickly and refurbish it quickly, we can get market level rents to cover the mortgage and the costs and some profit for yourselves. Fair market rents is what they pay, and it's going to do the right thing when it's needed.
Your offer is?
So my offer would be 50% of the profit with you guys.
So you'll fund the purchase, less bill cost, less banks.
What's needed over and above senior debt for 50%.
Being very generous today, you are, Nicholas. Right, well, that's a good start, isn't it, you two? Very good start. So, Helen.
Service accommodation is not something I'm looking to get into, and certainly not on an ongoing basis. I think you've got an amazing offer by Nicholas, who really knows what he's talking about in this space, so it's not for me. Thank you. Wish you well.
I'm not sure if Nicholas knows where Grimsby is, but that's not a problem. It's Humberside. I know it very well. For me, it's not my bag, really. I'm not saying it's not a good deal. I'm sure it is. You've got a great offer from Nicholas. You might get two more great offers, by the way. I think Paul's interested, certainly, at the end by the looks of things. So it's not for me today. Thank you.
If we were to use it the way I'm suggesting, I'd happily share it with any other angel as well.
That's how kind.
The more people helping out, the better.
Yeah, very good. Ranjan?
It's not for me. I don't do service accommodation. There's not much I can add. So I think you've got a good partner in Nick.
Paul?
I like what Nick suggested. I think if we can make some money and do something good for the current situation, then I'd be willing to share it with Nick. I also noticed there's land at the back, so hopefully we can help out with that situation and make even more money at the back of the development. So yeah, I'd share it with Nick.
Try and create a win-win situation.
Okay, so you've got 2 offers from what I understand. Nicholas on his own, or Nicholas with Paul together, which to me would be the dream team for you. But obviously, Joy and Peter, it's entirely up to you what you want to do.
No, I agree. You know, to help out in the current situation, I'm quite willing to accept, and I know Joy is as well, so we'll accept that offer.
So do it jointly. Do it jointly. Well done. Congratulations. Mind the step.
Amazing. Let's do some good with that.
Just about. It's time for another one.
What a mate. Looking forward to that one.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations to them both. Sorry, John, you carry on there.
No, I was just going to say, we don't normally do them quite this quick, but there was 5 very good applications, so we want to try and get them all in. So please do appreciate and understand that, hopefully. So
yeah, absolutely. We're going to squeeze one more in really, really quickly.
Yep.
There's your packs.
Making us work for our money
Please,
today.
can you give a warm welcome to our final pitcher, and this is Ragan. I'm going to let you get straight in, okay, just because I'm conscious of time.
Hi guys, I'm looking to pitch this residential development. It's located in Crowthorne, requires a quick refurbishment, no structural issues, and the land, there's a huge plot of land on the side, and I'm very confident that we can get another dwelling on the side with a similar square footage to the one which is there. That's around 1,200 square foot. I used to work at Savills as a planner, and we have a family business in property development. 3 years ago, me and my 2 sisters started a company, it's written at the bottom here, called Redwood Real Estate Investments. I watched a lot of Ranjan's videos using his...
well done, well done.
Oh, no. Don't come on here.
He has taste, he has taste.
Unbelievable.
There's a button you can block it on YouTube, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so just using the, the strategies, the brewer strategy.
He's a pest.
Yeah, so we now have 15 units in our portfolio. I obviously had the help from my dad, but us 3, we really look after it, and we're looking to grow it more. So just about this, I see this, into 2 sections really. One is the planning side of things, and one is the financial side of things. As I said, I have a background in planning. I've done my planning DD. It's not in a conservation area. There's no TPOs. I've done a planning conclusion, which you guys can probably see. And I've done a financial appraisal as well.
Wow, look at that. Oh.
It's a big spreadsheet.
If you guys...
And it's colour-coded.
Yeah, if you guys open the back, you guys will see all of the numbers.
Wow.
I've done 2 options, option 1 and option 2. Option 2 basically is where you come in, and how we would structure the deal is we'd take 60% at the start using a commercial loan. Can I just go through the numbers?
No, you're not allowed to do that. Go on.
If I can just go through the numbers with you guys, the total square footage would be 2,400. I have valuations from estate agents, and I am 99% confident that we would achieve 1.25 million. I have, I've gone on Zoopla, I've gone on Rightmove, I've done my due diligence. On the previous page, you can see, what house prices have gone for in that area.
Okay.
I have just spoken to the estate agent yesterday, and I finalised a deal at £540,000. Okay. After stamp duty, legal fee, agent fee, etc., the purchase cost is 574k. The development side of things, I have looked at the property, and it doesn't require a lot of refurbishment. It can actually be rentable on day 1, so we're going to get an income through that as well. So what I'm suggesting here is that just to convert that would cost around £35,000. I have done, refurbishments in the past, and as I said, I have a background in development, and in my family business, we have our own construction arm as well.
Okay, so are you doing? So you're refurbishing the existing building,
Yes.
and you're getting planning on a second one.
Yes, looking to get planning on that. It's being sold unconditional at 540.
Yep. And have you done a pre-app on it yet?
Haven't done a pre-up on it, no.
Okay, right. Okay, so I think we know where we are. Okay, so shall I start first? Would you like me to start first? Because I can't read. I've got my glasses. So I think 35,000 to refurbish anything these days, if it needs refurbishing, is very, very light.
Yeah.
Very light.
I understand that. I know exactly what needs to go.
I know you've got a fantastic pedigree having worked for Savills. Fair play to you. But some people who work at Savills are too posh to push, as I call it.
Yeah,
Too posh to push. So you're not one of those because you've seen the light and you've moved on, clearly. But I would say 35,000 to refurbish a property like that these days. I think you're talking a minimum 50,000 do a nice job, genuinely. Okay. Maybe 60. I know it's not very big, but it just, you know, everything just costs money these days. So, okay. And what are we going to what's it going to cost to build the second home?
So I've done it at £165 per square foot.
Okay.
1,200 square foot, that's just under £200,000.
Yeah. Again, you know, my figures are coming out at £200 a foot at the moment for new build.
Yeah. It's just that I wouldn't be paying that 20% premium to a contractor. I'd be doing it myself.
You're going to administer it all yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what's the first property worth done up?
The property, that one done up, I've taken the worst case scenario, £625,000.
600k, okay.
Sorry, £600,000. And then the new build with the same square footage, £650,000.
Okay.
And that's worst case scenario.
That's all I need to know to make a decision. Okay. Now, because once you know the square footage of anything, you can work the rest out very, very simply. You can easily work out what the build cost is, and you can work out what it's worth just from square footage. So, who would like to go next? Ranjan, are you ready?
I'll ask some questions about numbers.
So
if your numbers are right, we've got a profit of 306k, right?
That's option one. If option two is basically...
Well, I don't like option two because that's less.
Yeah, option two is if we take a 60% commercial loan at the start.
Okay.
So your return on equity would be higher.
Oh, I see. Okay,
but
so...
you have the finance cost as well.
Okay, so that's the bit at the bottom of the equity required. So it's 306 for 612 equity, or 275 for 348 equity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a no-brainer, isn't it? Okay.
Your return on equity on the project's just under 80%.
And what's the time scale?
I've done 18 months for a small project.
Okay.
Very sensible, very sensible. We have so many people who say, oh, I can do it in 6 months, it's going to be refurbished and sold in 6 months. The sun's going to shine every day. It's all going to be wonderful. Guess what happens? It's raining half the time and it takes a year.
That's only in your
well
world,
done,
John.
you.
We all see the positive side of things.
Well, I normally try to, but it's difficult when people say 6 months when it's never 6 months.
I'm with John on that, actually. Of all the projects I've ever done, one has come in early.
Yeah.
One.
What's the building next to it, can I ask? It looks like a fairly large building. It's not on the picture on the screen, unfortunately, but the other picture, there's a big building that looks a 3-story building. What is that?
That's the fire station.
Okay, so it's immediately next door to the fire station.
Yes, it is.
You missed that bit out, didn't you?
That's a pretty important fact that you should have highlighted.
Yeah, just to let you know, down the road there has been a similar planning application and it's been approved. So
yeah, but that's not next to the fire station.
Okay.
That being said,
Nicholas, we're going to have to wrap this up.
Yeah, I'll wrap myself up.
Yeah.
It's not for me. However, your pack, your experience is great. You're highly investable. Your track record, your construction experience, all brilliant. So, you know, if you don't get an offer today, I'd like to talk to you about other projects potentially. So,
thank you.
Have a chat offline.
Thank you.
Paul?
Yep. Yeah, I agree with Nick. I think you're highly investable. I think you've done a great pack. Similar though, it's not for me. The level of cash that needs to go in, the time frame it's going to take, the risks that go along with that. Yeah, it's just not something that fits my criteria.
If you want, I'm more than happy to buy the site, and then you guys can come after planning as well. So that's something which I'm willing to do.
That's also an important point.
Yeah,
can I retract my...
I'm quite confident that I can get planning on this.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, I've done 2 kind of options for you. If you want to come without planning or with planning, there's both options for you guys.
Okay, well, we can talk about another option after the show. Ranjan?
Listen, great pack. I think it's actually an interesting deal.
Okay.
It's not for me because I think there are a lot of risks along the way, and I like to invest in projects where I can add value to mitigate those risks and help you overcome them. And I'm not sure, because it's not my bag, I'm out for that reason. Okay. But I think it's actually a good deal.
Okay.
Okay. My view is similar to Ranjan's. It's the sort of deal I like because you can sell something off and then develop another project. The difficulty is you haven't got a pre-app on it yet. I appreciate you're very experienced. You're qualified in all this. So I think I'd like to talk to you afterwards on another option probably. But the one you brought us today isn't for me.
Okay.
So I'm afraid that's a no from all of us.
Okay.
But speak to me afterwards, because I said I think there's one or two ideas I've got, and Nicholas is going to try and rugby tackle you before you get over there, I think, as well, because he's seen something that I might have seen as well. Okay. So thank you very much for coming today.
It's really appreciated.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all our pictures today. We're going to wrap it up here. Is there anything that you would like to say at all, guys?
Yeah, I mean, the Instagram, take pictures and tag us, property.elevator.
Correct.
Yep.
It's at property.elevator, so
and
don't forget the dot.
And we'll reshare it. And also, propertyelevator.tv is the on-demand service. You can watch Series 3, 2, and 1 as it went out on Sky. And Series 4 will be on the telly in June. And if you haven't got Sky, if you sign up on the on-demand service, you'll get a notification when the episodes are aired and you can watch them online. And that will be the only place you'll be able to watch them online, which is propertyelevator.tv.
Yes, amazing. And we also have Series 5, which is going to be filmed in the summertime. So please do keep an eye out on all our social channels, and when the applications are open for that, please get in touch with us. If you've got any questions at all, we're all on LinkedIn, we're all on Instagram, we're all on Facebook. You can also connect to everybody via email. We will answer all your questions, and hopefully we will see you all there in the summer. So I think that's everything for today. Please can you just give one final round of applause to our angels today.
And to the contestants, candidates.